So hey everybody, it's Jake here with the DIA guys again, and today we're going to be putting a tonneau cover on a 2020 Chevrolet Silverado truck. So previously, if you look at the other videos we've got a video where we're installing, we installed the I-board steps on the truck, and those are installed there on the truck. You can see those. So if you're interested in that, check out that video as well on installation of those steps on a 2020 Silverado. But today we're going to install this tonneau cover, and the one that has been chosen to install on this truck is from BAK Industries, and I'll put a link in the description below the video about to this product that we're installing. So this is called the Revolver. So instead of the flip, like the 3-flip tonneau cover, the hard top tonneau cover, this is an aluminum tonneau cover that rolls up kind of like an industrial garage door, but it's covered with a vinyl covering. So it has the it'll roll all the way up to the cab, and you get good visibility through your glass, your back glass, but it's also rigid as well. So it's not like just the vinyl covers that aren't rigid. So that was one of the reasons why this one was chosen for installation. So here to install the truck, to install the tonneau cover, what we've done, we've already go ahead and cleaned out the bed of the truck, so it's ready. And we're getting ready. We're going to go ahead and clean this top surface of the bed rails, just to make sure that we get a good seal here. And we're going to just clean these with some isopropyl alcohol, and that'll get the truck ready for installation. Now the tools that we're going to need, we've got a 3/8 drive ratchet with a 9/16 deep well socket. We've got a 1/4" drive ratchet with a 1/2" socket here, and then we've got just a 1/2" boxed in, open in combination wrench. And those are the tools we need to install. So pretty simple. So I'm gonna bring you on in here, and I'm gonna show you we'll open up the box and show you the contents of the box, show you the instructions. I've already gone over the instructions, and they're pretty good. We've got a lot of detail in them, step by step. But we'll go through the process step by step as well to supplement these instructions and just show you some of the things that we encounter as we install ours that may be helpful for you if you choose to buy one of these and install it yourself. Okay. All right, so again, we're installing the Revolver hard rolling cover. So open up the box, show the contents. So it comes with the 2 rails here that are packaged, one rail here, one rail here. Over here we've got all the foam strips and the hardware down inside here, the bumpers, the latches, the covers, the hardware, all that kind of stuff. Now one of the things you're going to want to make sure that you do when you get the cover is to take out the contents and lay them out and make sure you've got everything. That's going to be very important as well. And then down here in the bottom is the cover itself. Okay, so ours arrived packaged very well, no damage to the parts. So let's go ahead and work on installation of the cover. All right, so here are the contents of that hardware package laid out a little bit more so you can kind of see them. First, I'll show the instructions so you can see the instructions lay out all the pieces and parts that you should have. And like I said, you need to just check and make sure you've got all those parts that are included, and then what's in the hardware bag, and then the tools are listed right here. And so I've already shown those as well, what I'm using. So the instructions are pretty good. They go through, step by step what you have to do in order to install the cover. And like I said, we've read them and gone over them pretty detailed, and it's pretty straightforward for the whole installation. So some information about how to use it safely, warranty, cleaning tips, and all that kind of stuff. So, and I'll show these instructions, as we go through and install the cover. Now, in terms of the contents, there's your hardware bag. So this is what we're going to use to actually mount the tonneau cover to the rails. These are the clamps that we use to mount the rails to the bed, the tonneau cover rails to the bed rails. These are the latches and buckles and webbing that you use once the tonneau cover is rolled all the way up to the front of the cab to keep the tonneau cover rolled in a roll position. These bumpers right here go up against the, you attach them to the tonneau cover. So once the tonneau cover is in a fully rolled up position, it gives it some cushion so that tonneau cover won't, you know, whack your rear glass and potentially damage and break your rear glass. And then these are the weatherproof seals that you put on the front of the bed, up where the glass is, to give the tonneau cover some, you know, weatherproofness, so you don't get moisture and water and all that kind of stuff inside your bed. Okay, so the other thing that we've done is we've gone ahead and started to lay out our tonneau cover rails. So you can see we got one rail here, and then here's the other rail. One thing I'll note is that these rails are marked with which one's left and which one's right to make it really easy. Okay, so we're going to keep all the tonneau cover itself in the box, and set the box to the side and go ahead and get these rails mounted, install that weather stripping. All right, so now, like we talked about, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to use our isopropyl alcohol, and we're going to clean the top of the bed, right here at the bulkhead of the bed, where it mates up with the back glass. And so the purpose of this is just to make sure we've got a really clean surface for the seal to adhere to. Okay, that's going to be the first step that we're gonna complete. Okay, so the first step of the process is to install the seal in the bulkhead of the bed, and it talks about how to use the two different types of seals here in the instructions. So what we did is we took the thicker seal. In our particular case, we took the thicker seal and cut it to bridge the gap between the bed liner and the top cap. So this seal actually goes a little bit underneath this bed liner, and I line it up sort of flush with the back end of the bulkhead here, and what I'm calling the back. So this would be the tailgate this way. So that way when you put the top on and clamp it down, you've kind of got a seal there. And then so we did the same thing on the other side as well. Okay, so now what we're getting ready to do is run the top seal all the way across from one side to the other. And we've got this thicker seal, this 3/4 inch thick seal in place, and now that we got the 1/4 inch seal that's going to go over top of it. Now what we did was we took one of the factory cut edges of the seal on the other side of the bed over there, and we put it in place, held it in place, and then came all the way over here, and then we cut it so it's in the same position on the other side, but it's overlapping this top bed rail just a little bit. And so we'll use that to help us have a spot where we could adhere the seal to. Okay, so now that we got this clean, this top rail is clean, the bed rail is clean, and this thing's cut to shape or cut to length, we're going to go ahead and get this seal installed and move on to the next part of the installation. Okay, so I'm going to shoot a quick video kind of showing how the seal is going to come together on the top when we put it on there. You can kind of see how they all come together and keep the water from getting in. Now, you know, there's a possibility that water can come in here and, you know, around this and go around this 3/4 seal, but all that water should be under the bed liner. So hopefully it would run out underneath the bed liner and not get the inside of the bed liner wet. But that is a possible leak spot for the water to come in this way and then run this way and then down into the bed liner. Okay, so I just want to kind of point that out, kind of how the seals are all going to come together. You might actually end up trimming this a little bit back here so that we get a better seal of this rubber edge against the bottom of the bed liner, but we'll see what that looks like once we get it all installed. Okay, so here's the 1/4 inch seal installed. You can see we've got it here about where the bed liner breaks over all the way across. Okay, so that's it. The other thing we did too is we got a roller, and we actually improvised and used a dowel rod to roll it, but you could use a dowel rod or use a wallpaper roller or anything like that, just to go all the way across this and roll on it to make sure you've got good even pressure and you got a good seal. So we did a couple fitments to put the rail up here and check and make sure that it was covered adequately. So we think we're going to cover the seal fully once everything's put together. But I feel like this is one of the most critical parts of the whole deal because number one, you want to make sure that you don't have any gaps where you could have water intrusion. And also because, you know, this is an adhesive seal and you have to cut it. So, you know, whatever you do here is going to tend to be a more permanent thing versus mechanical clamps that you can remove and replace, okay? So the next step we have to do is to put the side rails in place and start putting the clamps in place. And that's what the instructions go through here. So here you can see in figure 2, there's some pads on the side rails that you remove, and we'll remove those because we have a bed liner. If you don't have a bed liner, you leave those in. And then 3 through 4, and then on into 5 and 6 and 7 talk about the whole process to install those clamps and install those the rails on each side. So that's what we're going to do now. All right, so here's the left or the driver's side bed rail installed, or the tonneau cover rail. So you can see you got the clamps in there, the rear one, the mid one, and then the front one installed there. Now when we were installing this front clamp, we made sure that we pushed the tonneau cover all the way up to the front of the bed, to the front of the truck as much as we can, the rail to the front of the truck as much as we can, and push down on it when we clamped it in to make sure you get a good seal. Because the other place you got to really make sure you get a good seal is right here on this edge, okay? So you don't make sure that seal on the edge is touching that cap all the way across. You can see kind of what our seal looks like up here up front when we're done, okay? All right, so what we're gonna do, so those bolts right now are installed loosely. Nothing's really tight yet. I mean, it's snug, but it's not tight like it's gonna be when it's done. So what we're gonna do is go ahead and work on installing the rail on the right side, and I'll bring you back once all that's done and show it installed. All right, so before we finish up this right side, one thing I'll point out is you look at the clamps. We're putting them on here right now, but maybe point out that the clamps are grooved. Here you can see these grooves, and in the rail itself are some corresponding grooves. So what you're going to want to do is make sure that that clamp that fits in those grooves, mates in those grooves appropriately, and that'll help to make sure that the clamp won't slide down when it's on the tonneau cover rail. Okay, so just make sure that those things are aligned when you're putting the clamps on. Okay, so here's the bed rail, or the tonneau cover rail. I keep on saying bed rail. On the right side installed, you can see we got the first clamp about 12 inches from the front, or the bulkhead of the bed there. This one is about in the middle, and this one's over here in the very back of the right side. So come up here and kind of show. So you got to make sure we got a good seal all along this edge of the bed cap, and up here in the front is kind of where our seal and everything landed once we were done there. So one of the things to point out too, there's actually it's in the instructions, but there's a rubber pad or foam pad that's on this bracket right here, and you're going to want to make sure you remove that foam pad when you install it if you have the bed liner. If you don't have the bed liner, then you can just leave that in place because it will install up all up against the front of the bed of the truck. Okay. All right, but coming back here to the back, I just want to show this kind of feature of the rails. So this is part of the security feature. So when you actually install the tonneau cover and bring it down and latch it all in, you can see as this twists, there's a lock that comes down all along the side of the rail, and that rail is part of the security of the tonneau cover to make sure that nobody can pull it open and access the contents, because again, it's going to lock against the aluminum frame of the tonneau cover itself. Okay, so the next step in the process is we're going to pull the tonneau cover itself out of the box. We're going to sit it on the back of the truck, and then you have to make sure you orient it correctly so that when you take the tonneau cover out, the end of the tonneau cover will be the back end that will latch onto the truck. So you want to set the tonneau cover up so that you can roll the tonneau cover from the back of the truck to the front of the truck. Okay, so once we get the tonneau cover rolled out, set up on the back of the truck and rolled out, then we're going to attach the tonneau cover. there's some bolts in the tonneau cover that will go through some slotted holes in the rails, and we'll attach those with the washers and nuts as appropriate. And then the next steps that we'll go through is to align the tonneau cover properly. Okay, so let's go ahead and get it installed up there and get those bolts installed. Okay, so as you can see, we got the tonneau cover sitting on the bed of the truck. And like I said, this end, you want to make sure this end is down like so. What we're going to do is take the tonneau cover and we're going to set it up on top of the rails, and we're going to roll it from the back to the front of the truck, and we're going to install the tonneau cover into those slots in the front of the rails and get it tightened loosely. And then we'll work on getting everything aligned up so we can tighten it up fully. Okay, so we got the tonneau cover sitting on the rails. One thing I want to point out is on the tonneau cover, there are these plastic clips. And again, that's part of the security system I was showing earlier. So that rail, it comes in and clips inside this part right here. So what you're going to want to make sure you do is set the tonneau cover up so that those black clips are laying in this rail, and this back edge here, this back latch, comes down and rests on this part of the tonneau cover rail. So when that's done, then the tonneau cover should be positioned properly, and you can start to roll it out in the front. So as you roll it out, what you're going to want to do is make sure that these black clips continue to stay in this track as we go along on both the right side and the left side. Okay, and then that's where those studs in the tonneau cover, we'll run them through that slotted part of the bracket of the tonneau cover rail, and we'll install it to start the process of securing it to the truck. All right, so here's the tonneau cover rolled out on the truck. What we're gonna do is just let the tonneau cover sit here for a little bit. Maybe take a quick break, get something to drink, and just let this heat up so that these seals and all become real pliable, so it'll be easy to work. One thing I'll note is that you see this bracket back here. We have this bracket even with on the tonneau cover where the latch is, pretty much exactly where this this part of the tonneau cover frame is, because when this tonneau cover comes down, the cover comes down, it engages this bracket, pushes it down and engages those teeth in the side of the tonneau cover, and then locks it in place. Okay, so that's kind of what you want to make sure in terms of your alignment. And we've got all those black plastic clips aligned, everything rolled out. So we're gonna let it sit here and warm up. What I'm gonna do is come up here in the front and kind of show how our seal worked out in the front. So you can see some of it's slightly exposed there. So we may trim that back a little bit so you can't see the seal. But just wanted to kind of show, based off of where we had our seal positioned, how it all ended up looking. So, but anyway, so that step is done. So now we're gonna go to the alignment of the cover and installation of these, actually I called them studs, but they're not studs. They actually are bolts that are gonna slide in here and go down inside, and we're gonna tighten those up as well. So we're gonna go ahead and do that next. Okay, so here's a shot on the bottom side of the tonneau cover, and you can see here the way that the tonneau cover lays in the rails and the aluminum frame that gives it support. So this tonneau cover should support quite a bit of weight, and I think the manufacturer says something on the order of like 400 pounds. So you'd obviously want to check and make sure that's right, but it's very, very sturdy. The other thing that we've noticed too about it is that this top material that the tonneau cover is made from is much heavier than just a regular vinyl. It feels that way, at least. It's a very thick material, so it should be durable and give a lot of years of good use. Okay, so you can see we've got the bolts inserted in the tonneau cover rail here, and they're just 2 regular hex head bolts that you slide, get them aligned, and slide them in the rails, and then get them aligned down there with the tonneau cover rail, drop it in place. We're gonna go climb up underneath the tonneau cover and install the washers and the nuts and get this installed. Okay, so here we are underneath the tonneau cover, and what we got the washer. So you install that rubber washer, then a large fender washer, and then the nylock nut. Okay, so this is, and then just kind of get them snug, don't get them really tight. And then we can keep on with the adjustment process, getting the tonneau cover installed. All right, so one of the things I want to point out here, step number 12, that was a little confusing to me. This picture is the buckle on the top itself. And what this is trying to show is that this front edge of the cover needs to be aligned with the front edge of this rail right here. So if you peel this seal back, you can see that that's what we've got done there. So we don't have everything tightened down yet, but that's what step 12 was trying to show. So the next steps we're gonna do is go through and just, you know, roll the cover back and forward, make sure that the latches are hitting the locking part of the rail evenly. And then once that's done, everything's aligned, then we're gonna go back underneath the truck and we're gonna tighten everything up. All right, so here's the bed cover fully installed in the truck. So we finalized the installation by unrolling the bed cover, making sure that these latches latch properly in the side rails of the tonneau cover. And the instructions are very good, kind of showing what it's supposed to look like in terms of a correct latching. Went underneath there and tightened up all the clamps, and then we installed the clamp in the very front that holds the strap. And what we'll do is I'll do another shot of the tonneau cover rolled up and show the clamp installed and show what we did there. Up in the front, those bolts that hold the tonneau cover onto the rail, once everything was in place, slid up underneath the tonneau cover here in the bed and got those good and tight. And that's it. So I'm gonna roll it up and I'm gonna show the latches installed. All right, so to just release the side, or go ahead and pull that. Pull this one, okay. And release the latches. Just kind of roll the tonneau cover up. Just kind of doing some final checks to make sure that everything is. Your side look good over there? Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. All the way up. There we go. You can see there's the latches installed. There. And I got one installed right here. Now I've got the nylon webbing going kind of vertically when I tighten it up. And so that way when you bring this strap across and you clip it in place here on the front, and there's the adjuster where you can pull it to tighten it. It all kind of lays flat and lays nice and neat in place. So that's it. That's the final installation of the tonneau cover. Actually, the last thing we got to do is put those bumpers in place. So we'll go ahead and grab those bumpers that are over here, these bumpers. And this is what this shows right here in the instructions. Number 18, we'll get these bumpers installed. And again, those are just kind of a safety, just to make sure that the tonneau cover doesn't hit the back glass of the truck and crack the back glass. And here you can see those straps installed with the nylon kind of vertical. That's kind of what I did there, tightened everything up. Okay, so this is just showing you how, if this rubber seal is deformed, you could use a hair dryer, but it's a good sunny day here, so we're just gonna leave it out in the sun and let the sun do its thing. So that's it. So we're gonna get these bumpers installed, and then I'll show the final thing once those bumpers are installed. All right, so we did some looking at this cover, and for this cover to go forward with it strapped, with it strapped would be nearly impossible. So I think what we're gonna do is, for right now at least, we're gonna opt to not put those bumpers in place and just kind of use the cover for a little bit and see what happens. And then maybe we'll get a better sense of where those need to be installed. Because the strap, there's only so much of an angle, that you can have and still buckle it in place. And that angle will keep the cover off the back of the truck. So as long as you've got that strap installed, there's no way that's going to go forward. Now, the way it could go forward is if you don't have the strap installed, and then it will definitely go forward and whack the bed, whack the cab of the truck, but we're just going to leave it off for right now. All right, so here's the bed cover rolled back out, final installation. Just note that inside here, so there's a seal where it seals against the tailgate. That's all in place. So overall, it's a very good installation, very easy installation. I think we spent maybe, of course, shooting a video makes it take longer. So I'd guess we spent maybe an hour or an hour and a half is what it would take without shooting a video to put it all in place. But, you know, very, like I said, very, very easy installation. It looks like a very good, high quality cover. I've also tried to roll the cover up by myself on one side. Easy, no problem. You can roll it up by yourself on one side. It rolls up nice and easy. Rolls up and rolls out easy as well. So one-handed, you know, one-person operation is no problem either. All right, so this has been Jake with the DIA, guys. Hopefully this video is helpful for you if you choose to install one of these BAK Revolver tonneau covers. Like I said, the process was really easy. Just a few hand tools, very few skills involved. So if I had to, so out of a scale of 1 to 5 wrenches, 5 being the most complicated, this is probably another 1 wrench job here. So thanks for joining me, and we'll see you guys on the next video. Y'all take care. Bye.